Welcome to the Bow Disciples channel in the San Diego Deer Hunting Handbook. This video series is going to be packed with information and step-by-step breakdowns of what my dad and I have done over the years to be successful on great deer here in San Diego County, like these ones. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, send it to a friend, and be sure to catch every single episode in this series because every single one is going to give you new information and new knowledge to be successful in San Diego. And although these strategies are based and tailored to San Diego hunting, these strategies will still work in other states as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really am looking forward to creating this series and this information collection for you guys, and I'll probably learn a lot doing it and putting all this together. I'm sure you guys, if you actually listen and apply these things, will definitely see some success from this handbook. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and yeah, let's get into the series. An absolute crucial part of hunting anywhere, but especially in San Diego County, is going to be finding an area to hunt using onX, talking to a friend who has knowledge, or simply just hitting the ground and hiking a lot till you find an area with some sign. Once you have an area locked in, it is vitally important to learn that area and the specific deer there like the back of your hand. The ways I like to do this in San Diego, that's a little bit different than some of the other states I hunt. Because it's so thick here as far as the bushes and terrain, and there's just you can't glass all that well. Now there's certain areas you can, and we're going to cover that later, but I would highly advise buying a lot of trail cams. I personally like the Cabela's brand trail cams. They have a whole different they have a whole assortment of them, some higher end, some lower end, some mid end. I've tried them all and I've had pretty good luck with all of them. So I've had a lot of different cams over the years, and I've been super happy with Cabela's cameras. Now, when I say to run cams, I'm not just saying buy one trail cam and go set it up. I'm saying go buy 10 trail cams. You can get a really good trail cam for like $70. So I understand that's a lot of money, but if you could start with 3, let's say, I would start with no less than 3 trail cams. Ideally, you have as many as 10 or more. I love to run cams, in San Diego especially, but any state I hunt, I really like to utilize trail cameras. So buy some trail cams, and then we need to talk about where you're going to set them up. Now, in this video, I'm actually going to show you where I set some up and how I like to set them up and what I'm looking for terrain-wise to justify hanging a camera on. I've told so many guys when they ask me what to do to be successful here in San Diego, I always tell them run cams, and almost nobody does it. And if they do, they'll run maybe 1. But I really encourage you guys to go out, buy a handful of cams at the very least 3, but preferably 5 or more cams. And set those suckers. You run them. Those are hunters that are in the field when maybe you can't be, and they gather so much good information that you can apply to your hunt. If you're not running cams, you're making a huge mistake, especially with a bow, especially bow hunting, which of course is all I do. So buy some trail cams. I really like Cabela's brand, and today I currently have 3 cameras out running between 2 of my different local spots. And today I'm going to go set 3 more at a different spot. So after today, I will have 6 cams out locally, and I still have probably another 3 or 4 that I'm going to put out. So when it's all said and done, I'll probably be running at around 10 cameras here locally. So today I'm going to take you guys along. I'm going to show you how I set them up, what I look for when I set them up, and talk a little bit about brands that I like, cameras that I don't like, and make some recommendations on what you guys should purchase. So stay tuned, and let's go set some cams. When it comes to setting cameras, obviously one of the biggest keys is going to be where you set it up. So I just set up a camera on this tree right behind me, and the reason I chose this tree is I know there's a pathway kind of going through here that deer use, and what I've done is kind of walk along the edge here, there's a fence, a barbed wire fence. So I walked the fence and found a spot where the deer are commonly crossing. It's not a hammered trail, but it's the most used trail heading into this area that I like to hunt. So took a camera and put it on this tree, and then the pathway goes right through here. So I found, in other words, I found an area that concentrates the deer down, and I put a camera on that. I always recommend to try to find areas, if you have an area that you want to hunt, walk around it and see if there's anywhere funneling the deer into that area. Run a camera in that area, but then also if there's funnels heading into it, run cameras on those as well. So this one here is a Cabela's brand camera, which I would say are probably my favorite of all the brands that I've used. This one is, I think, one of the higher end ones. I also have the lower end ones. This one's called the Outfitter or something like that. Yeah, Cabela's Outfitter. I want to say this camera's maybe $120 or something like that. It does have a screen on it, which is kind of cool. And it's pretty easy to set up and run. So I'm a fan of those. I get asked all the time what cameras to use, and I always recommend the Cabela's brand cameras. They have a really good one for like $70. I'll show you guys that one at some point too. But the cameras are solid. Most of the time they don't click off a bunch of pictures of random stuff, which is super annoying. They're easy to set up, and they take good photos if you set the settings correctly. So gonna get this camera turned on. I got two more right here, and we'll try to find a place to set those up too. As you can see, this is a nice travel path for deer to use. My other camera is right down over there where it's thicker and then it opens up, and the deer use this to travel back and forth. So I set a camera right here on this tree. You always want to check limbs and make sure that if it gets windy or anything, they're not going to blow in front of the camera and trigger it so you have a bunch of pictures. But this is the view the camera is going to get. Very nice. And this one here actually is a stealth cam. I really like this model of stealth cam, and I don't know what the exact model is, but I like those ones. These ones are tempting to buy. They sell them at Big 5 and other stores in a 2-pack for super cheap. I would not recommend these specific stealth cams. I swear to you, you could put these on a metal pole in cement in a concrete room and they would still click off 2,000 pictures with nothing in there. So I wouldn't recommend these. I do still use them, but they're definitely probably my least favorite camera. The photo quality is good. The main knock is they just click off a bazillion photos, whereas these ones do not. So I don't recommend these. Recommend these. And like I said, check limbs. See, the camera's pointed more this way, so I should be good on limbs. Like an amateur, I didn't bring some clippers up with me, but this camera should be good, so we'll get it turned on and see if we can find a place for this one. Alrighty, camera number 3 is up. Here's the view. This right here is kind of an old, unused road, which deer and animals in general are a lot like us. Like, they're gonna walk the easiest path if possible. So an old road is a really good spot to set a camera, especially if there's sign that deer are using it. So this camera, actually, I needed to prop up a little bit higher so you could see. What I'll do a lot of times is break off a little stick and just angle the camera a little better. So that's it, camera number 3. And I'll probably leave these cameras here for 3 or 4 days and come back and check them. So I now have 6 cameras out locally between 3 different spots. 3 here, 1 at one of my other spots, and then 2 at one of my other spots. And I still got another 1 or 2 spots where I need to go set more. So like I said earlier, I'll probably end up with at least 10 cameras out. and that's going to give us a whole lot of information on which of those spots to focus our time. So that's kind of the reason we run cams and the reason I rely on them so heavily. And again, if you guys have any questions about trail cams or ways to run them or brands, or you want me to send a link of one that I like, I'll put a couple links in the description below. But you can also DM me on Instagram at James Visser or at Bow Disciples, or just leave a comment on YouTube. So we're going to turn this camera on, get out of here, and see what these cameras pick up in the next few days.